And a range of non-profit organizations are escalating their frustrations over funding cuts by the Gauteng Social Development Department. And they'll be marching to its offices in Johannesburg this morning, demanding that the provincial government reconsider its decision. And Newzroom Afrika's Ziniko Mhlaba is there and joins us live from the city centre with those details. Ziniko, good morning. What are you hearing there?
Good morning, Iman. Well, I can tell you, Mian, that the groups which are protesting to the Department of Social Development have arrived. So I'm just going to step out of shot so that you get a sense of what is happening this side. So it's the various NGOs in Gauteng from different regions of Gauteng, from Pretoria, Eastern, Johannesburg, Sidibeng, and all others that are coming from the Val. They've all gathered here to protest. And of course, their major challenge, or what has been a major problem between them and the Department of Social Development in Gauteng, has been that issue of defunding, but also the issue that has been decided by some of the organizations who are saying that, well, in the absence of the funds, we are going to shut down some of the centers and services we've been providing to the people. So they are here now to submit that memorandum of understanding. You also remember, Iman, that in the past 4 days or so, the Premier of Gauteng has been meeting with these non-profit organizations just to get an understanding of what their issues are, but also made some promises that they will continue funding those who are getting funding but are requesting time. But let me bring in now one of the organizers of the march. Ma'am, thank you very much for your time. Talk to us about what makes you unhappy about the outcomes which were coming out of the meeting you had with the provincial government.
I think us as members of NPOs, or actually staff of NPOs, what we've experienced is that Mr. Lusufi has been lying to us. This entire process has been taking so long. Generally, the funding that comes through from the Department of Social Development should be at the end of March, and by the beginning of April, we should have received our funding for the tranche of 3 months. But this year, including last year, we went through an entire process. We didn't receive any funding. Obviously, NPOs service a lot of vulnerable people in the community, and that is including the children, not only children, the elderly, the mentally ill, those kind of people. Is that what we are serving? And right now, NPOs have no money to service these vulnerable in the community.
Let me come in, ma'am. So how serious is this threat that some organizations now are considering shut it down? How serious is that, and what is it that can be done to ensure that that does not go through? Because at the end of the day, vulnerable citizens do need the services that you guys provide.
Well, it's very serious in that many organizations have been forced to close down because of the lack of funding and the inability of DST to actually adjudicate our business plans, which we had actually submitted timelessly. What has happened is that many children could suffer, many elderly could suffer, and they are already closed down services. Who's going to service these people now in the future?
Thank you very much, ma'am. We'll catch up with you later.
All right, thank you very much.
Thanks, ma'am. So those are the sentiments of the organizers of the march. These are the people, Iman, who are saying that due to the circumstances and the lack of funding, they don't have any other means of continuing with their operations, and they might eventually closing shop. So that's the latest from us. But also what she said, the very strongly saying that the Premier has been lying to them in terms of the conversations and engagements they've been having with the different NGOs here. So that's the latest from us here in Johannesburg with the protest organized by the NGOs here at the Department of Social Development.
Ziniko Mhlaba, thank you very much for that. And when you consider that a number of those NGOs are dealing with retirement, we're dealing with those who are the elderly, some of those dealing with battered women and children in shelters, it gives you a sense of the urgency of what they are raising there in the streets just outside the Department of Social Development. Ziniko Mhlaba there will keep an eye on development in that story there.